What is up, everybody? We are live. Well, you may not be live. I don't know when you're going to see this. I've already got sun shining in on my face. But we don't do this very often anymore. We don't stream. Everybody's doing reels and TikToks and short vertical video and so the thought of saying, "Hey, let's come together for a moment. Let's spend a few minutes together. Let's talk about some stuff." We just don't do content like this anymore, but I'm changing it today because last week a friend of mine DM'd me on LinkedIn and she said this, "Hey friend, do you have any Zooms coming up or anything I should join? It's been a week and I need an attitude adjustment." And I thought, you know what? If one person is willing to say that to me, how many others are thinking it, are feeling it? Because here's what I believe, that we are already far enough into 2025 to already be discouraged, to already have unmet expectations, to already have goals that seem insurmountable. And we're also human beings. And so we're all capable of having these mountaintop moments, these mountaintop desires. But then when we realize, like, oh, shoot, life is hard, life is difficult, we've got to recenter at times and come back to the things that we know. And so I just hope that really my prayer is that those of you that watch this live or later, that it will find you exactly where you are. If you are in need of some encouragement today, you might be in need of some encouragement on Thursday, and that might be when you see this video, because that's how cool the internet is. But I want to give, I took some notes and I want to talk through a couple of things. When we talk about needing a shift in perspective, when we talk about needing an attitude adjustment, when we talk about just allowing the frustrations of life to sometimes get the best of us, there are things that we can do to grow, to get better. And so here's some of the things that I thought about. One of the things that Shane and I teach in our coaching company is TFAR: thought, feeling, action, result. And so what I think goes overlooked a lot of times in life is we don't understand how connected everything is. And so we have a bad result and we just kind of go, you know what? I'd like that result to be different the next time. And we can kind of leave it at that. And then we go for that strategy called hope. And it doesn't always turn out in our favor because we never reverse engineered how we got here. And so what I want you to think about is the power of thought. There's studies out there that say that the average adult has 60,000 thoughts a day, and that upwards of 40,000 of those tend to be negative. And so when you think about that, you wake up in a sense behind the eight ball, when 2/3 of the thoughts you're about to have are going to work against you. We have to work that much harder to keep our thoughts in check, to keep them in perspective, because the thoughts we have determine the feelings we ultimately get. And it is through those feelings that result in an action. And it's through that action that breeds the result. And so we've got to be super aware of what we're doing. And so a couple of things that I'm always thinking of is, who am I allowing to speak into my life? That's always big to me, is who am I allowing to speak into my life? Is it someone that's going to bring positivity? Is it somebody that's going to bring perspective? Is it somebody that's going to maybe provide me with tough love? Or is it somebody that's just going to tell me that, no, that way's not going to work. You can't do that. That's never happened before. That's probably not likely. We've got to be aware of who we're allowing in proximity to us, because it matters. And so for some of you, this may mean that you need to add to your circle, but for a lot of you, this may mean that you need to take away. And this is where most of us struggle, because we feel like we owe it to someone to help them. We feel like, they did this for me and I've got to be available for them. But what good are you to others if you never get healthy? I can't help very many people while I'm sick. So if I don't provide myself with the opportunity to heal and grow, then I'm running up this hill that is insurmountable, that I'm never going to do anything positive with. And so you got to check your circle. I also think you've got to check your intake. When we're trying to shift perspective, when we're trying to grow and be better, we have to be aware of what we put in the tank. And I'll never forget, years and years and years ago, my parents had bought me a car. I was in high school, and I it was actually a diesel truck. And I called them one day and said, hey, my truck's not working. And my dad's asking me questions, and come to find out, what had I done? I had put regular ethanol gas in my diesel. And all of a sudden that diesel didn't quite work the way it was supposed to. Well, how do we expect to live positive lives, fruitful lives, when we put bad things in? And so this is a silly example, but in the last 2 days, my sports world has fallen apart as my favorite basketball team has traded my favorite player. And so I downloaded Twitter. I had gotten rid of Twitter because it wasn't any good for me. I was constantly being bombarded with negative things. So I've deleted it for almost a year. My life has been better. Well, Luka gets traded. I re-download it. And what did I do all weekend long? I spent 2 days on Twitter constantly. And how did my weekend go? It went bad. It didn't go well. I was not a positive and encouraging person. Why? Because what goes in will always come out. And so you cannot live a positive life while taking in negative content. You cannot live a positive life while allowing room for negative people to be pouring into you. It does not work that way. And so for some of you, you might need to quit being a missionary. You might need to quit making your life about just helping others if you're not also leaving room to keep yourself healthy. Because sick people can't lead sick people. We need healthy people for that. And so I love TFAR, thought, feeling, action, result. But here's something else that I think we need to talk about. That everything isn't what it seems. So tomorrow, I will be taking Lana and our 2 oldest with me to Orlando, Florida, to speak at a conference called Mortgage Con. It's incredible. It's one of my favorite conferences of the entire year. And they allow me to bring my family. We spend a couple days at Universal Studios. And so, guys, guess what? You're going to see a lot more of me on social media this week than on a normal week, because we're in a cool place. We're going to be in Florida at Universal Studios. I'm going to be speaking on a big stage. And so you're going to see pictures and videos that are going to allow you to go, must be nice. Must be nice to be Kyle. Must be nice. Guys, it's not. Because what have I been doing for the last month? I hadn't been posting anything. Why? Because I hadn't been doing anything. There's nothing cool going on. I'm not traveling to any cool places. I am at home living my life. And so we've got to be so aware, because you've got to stop confusing your real life with their highlights. You've got to stop. Because what you see is you just yelled at your kid, and then you jumped on Facebook and you saw a friend of yours kid winning an award. And now you've taken this winning an award mountaintop moment and you've directly aligned it with, I just finished yelling at my daughter in our kitchen. When those two things do not add up, we cannot take things for face value. And if you want to take them for face value, that's fine, but you've got to do something else. You've got to stop comparing. These are kind of the 3 things for me. The 3 main points of this live. You want fresh perspective. You want your attitude to change. It's 3 things. 1, it's stop comparing. Stop. comparing. Stop taking the highlight reels of the people around you and comparing them to the lowest of lows of your life. It's not real. Because everybody I have a personal conversation with has some sort of conflict or struggle taking place in their life. They're just not telling you about it on the internet. But they are going to celebrate the birthday. They are going to talk about the fancy steak dinner they went to. And so we've got to be careful. You were created in such a unique way. I believe that there's a God of this universe that knows how many hairs are on your head. And so he did not create you so that you could compare the way he made you to the way he made somebody else. There are things on this earth that only you are capable of. There are people on this earth that only you are capable of serving and creating value for. And so you've got to stay committed. And so how do we do this? After we stop comparing, we have to help others. Try to have a bad day while doing something for someone else. It's hard. I've yet to be able to figure it out. And so what I see is when I get very woe is me, when I make it all about me, I can look up and go, man, I haven't really done anything for anybody else in forever. I haven't made the random phone call to check in on somebody. I haven't recorded the video to tell a friend that I love them. I haven't done anything. I'm wallowing in my self-pity. I'm convincing myself that everyone is out to get me. I'm convincing myself that everyone has it better than me. I'm convincing myself that every guy out there is a better husband to his wife than I am. I'm the worst parent, right? We get into these places, and I believe the fastest way out is when we start doing things for other people. And so if you're struggling with perspective right this second, think of 3 people in your life that you're thankful for and record a video to them and just tell them that you love them and expect nothing in return, because that's the key piece to this helping others, is doing it in such a way where you expect nothing back. This is not a transaction. I'm not being nice to you so that hopefully one day you'll be nice to me. I'm being nice to you because I love you and care about you. We've got to make our lives about helping others. And then here's the third piece. So it's stop comparing, it's helping others. And the third thing is this: run your race. Run your race. You know, there's an incredible parable in the Bible where this man gave 3 servants each a coin and essentially said, you know, go do what you can with this coin. And the story goes that, you know, the one was given 1 and he buried it because he was afraid to lose it, and another one was given a couple and he went and turned that into double, and then another was given a few more. And that also turned into double what he was originally given. And the whole premise is that the master was pleased with everybody except for the one that did nothing with it. And he did not praise the other 2 based on what they brought back. All he cared about is that they doubled what they were originally given. And so there wasn't this, yeah, but I would have brought more, but you gave him more than you gave me. No, it was, what will you do with what I put in your hands? Period. And so somebody on here today, you need to hear this. Go run your race. Go run your race. It's your race. I think about all these years when I started speaking, and I was speaking to rooms of 1 to 5 people, going, man, what am I doing? And then I'd look and see somebody else speaking to a room of 300, and I'd go, man, must be nice. Must be nice to be in the room of 300. And then I started getting rooms of 300, but then I'm watching people I know speaking to rooms of 3,000, and then it's, man, must be nice. Must be nice to speak to the rooms of 3,000. we can spend our entire lives, if we're not careful, wasting away because we're never satisfied with where we're at because we're always focused on where we're not. And so I think sometimes we need to just slow down, take a breath, and appreciate the journey. Appreciate the journey. Man, you may not be where you want to be, but you're not where you used to be. Life is too short for you to stay so focused on just yourself. It's too short. Guys, there are people in our lives right now getting diagnoses that doctors don't see a way out of. There are people right now burying loved ones. There are people right now that are under a financial burden that no one will understand. There are people right now, there are moms and dads that are trying to walk through a season of a sick child, and they wish more than anything they could trade places with them, but they can't. Like, everybody is walking through something. And so you've got to ask yourself, are you going to complain about it? Are you going to sit around and be all about this woe is me? Or are you going to go, what is it that I'm supposed to learn from this? How can I use my situation to bring love and encouragement to other people? And guys, when this happens, it's unbelievable what the outcome can be. Because the outcome isn't typically by more accolades, more money. It is by leaning in to greater alignment with the purpose that God has planned for your life. And so I don't know who this was for. I don't know who needed to hear it. Maybe it was just for myself. But guys, it is my hope and prayer that you will decide that it's okay to need an attitude adjustment. It's okay to need a fresh perspective. It's not okay for you to stay there. And so let's get unstuck together. If you need to rewind this and go watch it again, go watch it again. But I love you. I appreciate you. I hope I get to see you soon and hug your neck. Bye, everybody.